Good afternoon. This is Bremster, and I'm coming to you today with what I think is going to be deja vu for many of you, because I noticed while I was loading this puzzle up, this has been solved over 7,000 times. This puzzle has more solves than I have subscribers, by nearly double. Actually, about double. So what that means is this has been solved by cracking the cryptic. And I haven't seen that video, but I watch a lot of their videos. I haven't seen this one, or if I have, I've completely forgotten it. But it means that for many of my subscribers, you will have seen this before. But I haven't done this puzzle, and I want to, so I'm going to, and you're going to see me solve it or leave, whatever. But I wanted to give this a try. This has been recommended by my testers. It came through my queue, and I'm curious. Now, another thing that I have to get, this is House Parity by AnalyticalNinja. Sorry, you possibly recognize it. And I'm looking forward to this one. I love parody puzzles, and I have no idea what this is going to be like. Now, I've left some space in the rule box above because this is a multi-stage puzzle, and I want to put into the rules box above the stages as they come up. Now, I've no idea whether I'll get that right, but I'm going to try. So, let's have a look at how this puzzle works. So, clues outside the grid, I'm not starting normally, clues outside the grid are parity party clues and give the sum of the digits up to and including the first even digit or up to the first odd digit from that side. Single digit clues might give the first digit only. So what that means is, for example, this 8 clue means that there's going to be a run of digits in this row summing to 8 before a parity swap. So it could be a 1-7 and then there'll be a parity swap. It could be a 2-6 and a parity swap. It could be an 8 and then a parity swap. I.e. a 7 clue, there is an example in the rules in the puzzle and in the description below, but not above because of space limitations. I.e. a 7 clue could mean the first cell contains a 7, the first 2 cells contain an even and an odd digit that sum to 7. What? Up to and including the first digit. What? A 7 clue could mean the first cell seen contains a 7, the first 2 cells contain an even and an odd digit that sum to 7, or the first 2 cells. Oh, okay. So I got that wrong. See, this is why I want to go through it. So if you looked at my first explanation, the clues outside of parity party clues that give the sum of the digits up to and including the first even digit or up to and including the first odd digit from that side. So if you had 2 evens and an odd, it would sum the 2 evens and the odd. If you had 2 odds and an even, it would sum the 2 odds and the even. So a 6-1 would be a valid 7 clue. A 7 clue could be the first cell contains a 7. The first 2 cells contain an even and an odd that sum to 7. Yeah. So a 6-1 would be valid because you've got an odd and an even. There is a parity switch. Right. This is going to break my brain. So, right. This is going to break my brain. Okay. Digits within cages can't repeat and sum to the small number shown. Right. And then this puzzle is solved in 2 stages. So, the first stage is each 3x3 box is solved independently as a 3x3 mean mini. Each box uses exactly 3 digits from 1 to 9 without repeating in the rows, columns of that box. Outside clues for the first box seen. Outside clues are for the first box seen in this stage. So it means that I can solve this entire puzzle with these 3x3 boxes, and I hopefully have put stage 1 above in the rules, but each of these has to be solved independently as 3x3s. Right. So what can I tell anything about this? Well, surely I can, because this box, for example, this is a mean mini, which means these 3 digits are going to be the same as those 3 digits that are going to be the same as those 3 digits. So we know that the 3 digits in the box sum to 14, but this is a 10, so this has to be a 4. This has to be a 3, so we know that this is now going to be 3, 7, because these have to sum to 10 but have to contain a 3. This is therefore 3, 4, 7, so this is 4, 7, which does sum to 11, and this is 3, 4, 7. Now, how do I resolve? Well, I can't put a 4 in either of those, so that's the 7 and that's the 3. Oh, I have to turn off the conflict checker. I didn't even realize I had it on. Okay, so this is the 3. This becomes the 4, which takes 4 out of there. There's no 3 in this column, so this is the 7 and this is the 4. This is the 3 and this is the 7. So there's the first mean mini done. Okay. And that one kind of wraps my head around how it works. Now, that's always going to be a pattern that holds true, isn't it? You're going to have something on the diagonal, and then you're going to have these sort of, what would I call that? Sort of triangle shapes. Because if I didn't, like if this was a 7, and yeah, because if this was the 7 and then that was in the triangle shape, then whatever went here wouldn't. So yeah, if this digit was that, then this would just reflect. So it would go there. And then whatever went here, if it went here, it would have to go here, and it couldn't. So it would have to be the diagonal, and then the other 3 would be left over. Yes, okay. So how else do we do this now? I'm going to be terrible at this. These sum to 22. Now, how do we do 22? Do we have to have a 9 in a 22? Because 6, 7, 8, there must be a 9 in a 22, because 6, 7, 8 only sums to 21. So there must be a 9 in a 22. But we have to do 22 in 3 digits, and there must be a parity switch. So 22 would be... Actually, how do I do 22? I've got to take 2 off 24. So 7, 8, 9 is 24. I have to take 2 off that. So I've got 9. So the other 2 digits, this is what I need to think about. The other 2 digits have to sum to 13. So there's 6, 7, or 8, 5. If there's 6, 7, this is a 6. Hang on. If there's 6, 7, this is a 6, 9. If they're 8, 5, how do I make a 15? Yeah, right. So the 22 is either 6, 7, 9 or 8, 5, 9. But if it's 8, 5, 9, how do I make the 15 cage? Because I need a 6 or a 7. So this is 6, 7, 9. I have to have the parity switch at the end. So this is the 6. This is the 7, 9. Because it's up to and including the first parity switch. If I put the 6 in the middle, then the parity switch would happen too early. This becomes the 6, 9, but this is the 9 and this is the 6. By the design, this is now the 6. This is a 7, 9 pair. This is the 7, which makes this the 9, this the 7, this the 9, and this the 7. Okay. This is breaking my brain. Now, 21 is going to be similarly restricted, except it's not, because I could use 6, 7, 8. But if I do 6, 7, 8, if I do 6, 7, 8, how do I do 13? 6, 7. And it would have to be 6, 7. If I put a 9 in it, because it would have to be 6, 7, because it'd have to be 13 to the parity shift. If I put a 9 in it, this is where I wish I was better at the math. If I put a 9 in the 21, then the other 2 digits will sum to 12. Now, I couldn't use 9, 3. If I used 8, 4, I couldn't make the 15. If I used 7, 5, I couldn't make the 15. And I can't use 6, 6. So I can't use a 9. This is 6, 7, 8. It has to be 6, 7, 8. Because if I use the 9, I can't make... Yeah, so let me go through that. If I use the 9, if I use 9, 8, then I'm at 17, I need a 4. How do I make 15 with 9, 8, and 4? I can't, in two cells, I can't do it. So 9, 8, 4 doesn't work. If I do 9, 7, 5, I can't make the 15. And if I use 9, 6, 6, I start having a problem. So I can't put a 9 down here. So this is 6, 7, 8, which does sum to 21. But I have to put the parity switch at the end. So this is the 7, this is the 6, 8. Now, the only way to make 15 out of these is this is a 7, 8. So this is the 6, this is the 8. Now I need to do 13 here with a parity shift. Now, the only way to do that is with 6 and 7. This becomes the 8, this becomes the 8, this is the 6, and this is the 7. And I've done that box as well. I think I'm starting to wrap my head around this. Now, this is an 18 cage. But the sum in all of these, it's a little bit like a weird magic square. The sum of this is the same as the sum of this is the same as the sum of this, which is the same as the sum of this, which is the same as the sum of this. So this sums to 18, so this has to sum to 18, but this sums to 9, so this is a 9. These have to sum to 9. Okay, but this has to sum to 17. So the difference here is there has to be a 1 hanging off the end, surely. There has to be a 1 hanging off the end, because there has to be a 17 sum in here. If all three of them sum to 17, then this would have to be 17 as well. So these have to sum to 17. So this is a 9, and then I need an even digit that's going to get me to 17. This is an 8, and this is a 1. So this is a 1, 8, and I know the order because this is 8 and this is 1. This has to be the 1 in order to get the 9 working. This is an 8, 9, and I know the order. This is the 8 and this is the 9. This is stunning. Okay. Now, oh, this box is scary. These two sum to 7. But I have to make a 9 total. And I have to make a 4 total. So I could do 4, 7. Oh, I'm not sure. Not sure about this one. If these all summed to 9, could I make that a 2? With this being like 4, 3. This would be 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4 here and have a 4 here. I think I could. What's wrong with that? I suppose the question is, if this is 1, 3, which is the... No, hang on. How do I make 4? That's the question. How do I make 4? The only way to make 4 is either a 4 on its own or with 1, 3, which doesn't include a parity switch. So this has to be a 4. So now the question is, that's really cool. So the question now is, how do I do the 9? Because if I make this 9 plus 4, these would have to sum to 13. This would have to be a 6. And then this would be 6, 3. Which does have a parity switch. And it would have to be 6, 3. Because it'd be 6, 3. There's your parity switch, and it stops the 9 clue. This would be 4, 3, and I don't see the problem there. But if this is 2, 3... Right, hang on. This can't be 2, 3, 4 now. Because the minute I put a 2 or a 3, that will flip the parity. So this can't be 2, 3, 4 now. So this has to be... Well, this is nuts. Because if this is 2, 3, 4, 2, 3 would stop it, and 3, 2 would stop it. So I need something that's going to stop it after a parity switch. So it's either 8, 1, which would stop it. 2, 7 would stop it. Or actually, no, it would stop either way. Because it doesn't matter that this is another one of the digits. If I go 3, 6, that still stops it, or 6, 3 stops it. So this is anything in either order. But I know there's a 4 up here. So it's got to be the 7 cage. So if this was 1, 8, how would I make the 7 cage? I would need to make 7 from 1, 8, 4, and I can't do it. If it's 2, 7, I have to make 7 from 2, 7, and 4. I can't do it. If it's 3, 6, I can. This has to be 3, 6. And then the 7 cage is made from 3 and 4. This is the 3, this is the 4. This is now the 6. That's the way I had to think about it. I had to think about it the right way. So this is 3, 4, and 6. I know this is the 6, which means there's no 6 here. The 4 makes this the 3 and this the 4, which makes this the 6 and this the 3. Okay. I have to wrap my head around doing this the right way. And I'm not very good at this, I'm sure. Well, I know. I absolutely know that. Okay, I'm assuming I haven't made a mistake because the puzzle's not going to tell me in any way, shape, or form whether I've made a mistake. Now, this 14, the pattern is going to matter, isn't it? Because either those are the same or those are the same. Or those are the same or those are the same. But I can't repeat a digit in the cage. So this can't be the diagonal. This has to be the diagonal. So those digits are the same, which means those digits are the same and those digits are the same. Because I cannot repeat a digit on the diagonal. So I have 3 digits summing to 14. So if these sum to 5, this would be a 9. This would be a 9. And that would be a 7. But I can't, so these can't sum to 5. If these sum to 5, this would be a 9, this would be a 9. This would have to, there's no way to do the 7 clue. So these can't sum to 5 and green is 5. Now I need to get this to 7 somehow. The only way to do that is by making yellow 2. And then blue needs to make up the difference. So yellow is the 7 to get me to the 14. That is incredibly cool. I love how you can use the pattern. And I could probably do the same up here. No, I can't. The cage is in a different position. But it worked down here. So that was cool. Okay, so we know the total is higher than 10. No, it can't be this way. So I can't make the digits look like that. So this has to be the diagonal. Because this has to either be that or the diagonal. Because if you look at this, any corner either, if I pick any corner, it's either on a diagonal or it has that triangle shape. Any corner does that. And that's because of the way they work. So if this was this, these would be the same. So blue is the diagonal. That is not blue, which means this corner is those digits and this is those digits. So now, once again, I know they all sum to 15. This is 10. So blue is 5. Hang on, I've broken it. I've absolutely broken it. I must have made a wrong deduction there. Because how do I do this with a parity swap? Because 3, 5 is the same parity. What did I do wrong up here? I can't repeat digits in the cage. So this has to be the diagonal. This has to be that, and that has to be that. That has to work that way. But I know that green, yellow, and blue sum to 15, and yellow and green sum to 10. So this has to be 5. So how does the 8 clue work? How does the 8 clue work? There's no other way of doing this. Because let's pick that digit. It has to go in one of those two cells. It has to, it can't repeat in its row and it can't repeat in its column. So it's in it has to appear twice in those two cells. So it has to appear there. So it has to appear there. There's no other way of doing it. That digit has to appear twice in those cells because I can't repeat it in the row and I can't repeat it in its column. So because it's got to appear twice and it can only appear once in the cage, it has to go there, which knocks it out of those, which puts it there. That reinforces that diagonal. Now, let's pick this one. Where does this go? It can't repeat in its row or column. It can only go once there. So I can't put it there twice, and it can't go in either of those. So it can only go once there. So it has to go there, which now means it can't go in any of those, and it goes there. And these are the remainders. So I'm back where I was. So blue has to be 5. But if blue is 5, how do I make the 8 clue work? Because 3, 5 doesn't have a parity shift. Because yellow and green must sum to 10. So I can't make all of them sum up to 8. So these two must sum up to 8. This puzzle's been solved 7,000 times. What am I getting wrong? Parity party clues and give the sum of the digits up to and including the first even digit or up to and including the first odd digit from that side. Oh, of course. It's a single digit clue. So it's an 8, and then there's a parity switch. Single digit clues may refer to just a single digit. That's what I'm missing. There's a reason. Right, now. Okay. Wow. Sorry, everyone. See, this is how you learn. I'm learning, right? Now, this one seems more powerful to me because we've got 16. Now, but we've got 2 digits summing to 13. Could I have 2 digits summing to 16? Because if 2 digits sum to 16, they'd be 7 and 9. And then I could do 7, 6 here. So if I had 7, 6, 9, I've got no way of doing this. So 16 has to be all 3. Because if this was 7, 9, doing 16 in 2, then I've got 7, 9 in here. The only way to do the 13 would be either 9, 4, and 9, 4, 7 doesn't allow me to do this, or 7, 6, and 9, 6, 7 doesn't allow me to make 9. So I can't do it in this. So 16 is in all 3, which means this is a 3. These sum to 13. So summing to 13, the entire row or the entire column sums to 16. This sums to 9, so this is a 7, which means this is a 6. I now have to make, fortunately, the 6 and the 3 does sum to those. So this is, there's a 7 in here. This is 7 and 6. What am I doing? 7 and 6. This is 3 and 7. Three, 6, 7. 3, 6. Oh, is it the... If 7 is on the diagonal, if 7 is those, 6, 6, 6, 3, 3, 3, 7, 7, 7 would work. 7, 7, 7, 3, 3, 3, 6, 6, 6 would work. I'm not seeing this one. Oh, parity shift. It's the parity shift. I have to have the odd digits, the even digit has to be at the end. This is the 6, this is the 3, because I have to go up to the parity shift. That means this is the 7, this is the 6. I'm losing my mind. This is the 7, this is the 3. And I've only this is probably the easy part of the puzzle. How long have I been going? 30 minutes. I bet you that the Cracking the Cryptic video did this entire puzzle in less time than it's taking me to do the first half. Guaranteed. Okay, so this one. Now, 7 in 2. Seven in 2. Okay, how do I do this? I've got 7 in 2, I've got 9 in 2. So the total is at least 10. But I could do 6, 3, 1. And that would work because I could go 6, 3, 1. And then in here I could do 6, 1. And in here I could do 6, 3. How else do I do this? How else do I make up 6? Apart from just a 6 on its own. If I do 1, 5, that's not a parity shift. And if I do 2, 4, that's not a parity shift. So that doesn't work. So the only way to do the 6 clue is a 6 on its own. So there is a 6 in the 7 cage because now I can't put 6 in any of those. There must be a 6 in here. This is 1, 6. So there's no 1 there. This is the 1. This is an 8. This is an 8. This feels wrong. This is an 8. This is a 6. So this is a 1. This is a 6. And this is a 1. So that's a correct parity clue. This is correct. This is correct. This all seems correct. And that seems to be the first stage of the puzzle. Now, stage 2. Delete all digits except for the central cell of each 3 by 3 box. Then lowercase t. Fingernails down a chalkboard. Then solve the puzzle as a regular 9x9 Sudoku using the remaining digits as givens. Outside clues can now see further than just the first box seen. So what it wants me to do is select, actually I'll select the entire grid and then deselect the central cells and then delete everything. Now, it is very, very tempting for me to check. I'm actually going to do it. I am going to check to see whether this is correct at this point. Puzzle is not yet finished. The digits you entered are correct. So that's very useful. If you tick the checkbox, it's told me that this is correct. But now I've got some information. This is a 15 cage, so this is a 7. So I got something. There is a 7 down here. Now this could be 7, 8 maybe. I don't know. Now if this is a 13, 6, 7 would work. Now how do I do 8 along here? This has to be an 8 on its own again, because the only way to make 8 would either be in a 3 cell with a 1, which I don't have, or with 3, 5, which again isn't doing a switch. So I can't do 8 in 3, I can't do 8 in 2, so this is an 8 on its own. Now this 15 cage, these sum to 10. And these sum to 10. Not sure. But this 8 clue, I'm saying, is now done. This 6 clue, 5, 1, it's the same. It's an even clue. It's a single digit even clue. I can't use 1, 5. I can't use 2, 4. This has to be a 6. That logic has to still hold. Or if it doesn't, I'm an idiot. I'm true blue. And it's got to be the same for this 4. Because it can't use 1, 3. So that's a 4 on its own. Now this 9 clue could be a 9 on its own. But it can't extend into 4 cells. And if it's 2 digits, that would work, actually. I could use 1, 8 or 2, 7. I can't use 1, 8. So this is either 9 on its own, or can't use 1, 8. It's 7 with a 2 here. So this is either 7 or 9. This 7 cage is either 1, 6 or 2, 5. Actually, let's look at this again. Because 14, 25, 35, these sum to 10. This is either a 4 or a 7, I think. No, it's a 4, a 5, or a 7. So it could go 4, 2, 1. It could go 5, 2, or it could go 7 on its own. These sum to 12. 9, 3, 8, 4, 7, 5. I don't know what I'm missing. This is a 16 clue. I can't do it in 2, so it's at least 3 long. So this has to be odd. So this is 1, 5, 7, 1, 5, or 7. Because these have to be the same parity, because I can't, if it was even, it would stop. Now, if this is 1, 3, this would also have to be odd. If it's 5, 3, that would sum to 8. This could be an 8 with that being a 1. If it's 7, 3, that could be a 6, and that could be, well, it couldn't be a 6. It would have to continue again. But I don't know that is necessarily the case. Ugh. These sum to 7. They're not 1, 6, so they're 2, 5 or 3, 4. That's not helping me. Is it this 17? 8, 9 would do it. 8, 9 would make this a 1. If I don't swap the parity here, if this is odd, it's 3 or 5. Now 3, 9 would be 12. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Parity, parity, parity. If these are both odd, I couldn't jump to an even because then the total would be even. So I would need another odd digit. And the only other odd digit available is 3, 5. So if this was 3, 5, this would be 3, 5. And that just doesn't work. I can't make this 3, 5. This has to be the 8. Because if this is 3, 5, 9, then I've hit my 17 total. Because 3, 5 is 8 plus 9 is 17. I've hit my 17 total, but I haven't done a parity swap. The 1, 7 here forced this to be an 8, which forces this to be a 1. Which means there's a 1 in here somewhere. Does it have to be in the 10 gauge? I don't think so. But now I don't have an 8 or a 9 in this 18 gauge. Now, is it this 9 clue now? 7, 2, no, it still works. So the 17 clue is done. I hope it's done correctly. 18. I can't put 110 in the 11 cage. Does that help me? This can't be 1, 8 or 3, 6. So it's 2, 7 or 4, 5. So it's either 2, 7. Sorry, it's either 2, 7 or 4, 5 in that order. If it's 4, 5, this can't be 1, 6. It could be 2, 5 or 3, 4. If it's 4, 5, how do I make the 7 cage? I couldn't use 1, 6. I couldn't use 2, 5. I couldn't use 3, 4. There's no way to do it. This can't be 4, 5. This is 2, 7. Now this is 3, 4 because I can't use 1 or 2. There has to be this is now 3, 4. So now I can't use 1, 3 or 4 in this. And if I don't use a 2, it's 5, 6, 7, which is 18. Does that mean it has to be 5, 6, 7? If I do use a 2, the other digits have to add up to 16. And I don't have a 9. There's no 2 in there. This is 5, 6, 7. And in here, I've got 2, 3, 4. This is 5, 6, 7. So the 10 cage now, it could be 1, 9. It could be 2, 8. And that's all. Because these are all 1, 2, 8, 9. If it's 1, 9, it's 1, 9. If it's 2, 8, it's 2, 8. And that's it. There's no 2 here. So 2 is up here. So this is a 2 by Sudoku. Oh, this is a 4 by Sudoku. So this is a 2, 3 pair, which solves this. This can only be 1, 6 now. Which means there's no 6 there. This 11 cage. 9, 2 is no longer possible. 8, 3 is. 7, 4 isn't. Oh, the 2, 7 looks down, making that the 3 and that the 2, which takes 2 out of that, which means it's not 2, 5. This is 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are an 8, 9 pair. That gives me an 8, 9 pair. So this is a 1 or a 2. So how do I make this 11 cage? I can't use 9, 2. I can't use 8, 3. I can't use 7, 4. This is 5, 6. And this is an 8, 9 pair in the box. This is crazy. It's crazy good, though. Assuming I haven't made a fundamental mistake. Because this is me. This 3 means this is 4 and this is 3. Which puts 3 up here somewhere, but not in the 15 cage. Now, these still have to sum to 10. But they can't be 3, 7 or 2, 8 anymore. So they're either 1, 9 or 4, 6 in those orders. That one? Not sure. 9, 2 still works. 7, 2 still works. So whichever way this goes, that clue is actually resolved, which is frustrating. Now, there's no 4 here anymore. So this is 5 or 7. How do I make that 12? 9, 3 doesn't work. 8, 4 does. 7, 5 doesn't. And 6, 6 doesn't. So because 9, 3 doesn't work, this has to be 8, 4. Because 7, 5 would break that cell and 6, 6 you can't do. So that being 4, 8, what the heck does that do? Makes this a triple. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are 5, 7, and 9. Which means that's a 1 by Sudoku. It's been there for a while. Maybe this 9 cage. 1, 8 works. 2, 7 still works. 3, 6, and 4, 5 don't. So 1, 8 or 2, 7. That can't be 2, so that can't be 7. If it's 1, 8, there's an 8 there, which would make that a 7. Maybe. Now this is at least 2 cells long. 6, 7 works. If this is an odd digit, 1, 7. Now it's the same trick as down here, isn't it? If this is an odd digit, this has to be 4 cells long, because I'd go odd, odd. Yeah, it's the same trick. If this was an odd digit, that's a windstorm. If this was an odd digit, this would be even. If this was odd, I haven't had a parity shift. So this would, therefore, and if this is even, the total is even. So if this is odd, this has to be odd to go to an even. But then I'm hit a minimum of 15 and I've done it. So this has to be the even digit, which causes there to be a parity shift. So this is a 6. That's very cool. Hard for me to see. Very hard for me to see. That's forced 6 into one of those. If 6 is in this cage, it would be there. I can't put 6 there because it would put 4 there. So 6 is in one of those two, which I can't put 6 here. I can't put 6 in any of those. And if I put 6 there, that'd be a 4, which doesn't work. So 6 is in one of those two, which makes that the 1 and that the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's an 8 in one of those two, and it's not there. So that's the 8. This is 5, 7, or 9. And it's not 9, giving me a 5, 7 pair, making that the 6. This 5 clue, it can't be a 5 on its own. Because if it's a 5 on its own, the 1 gets picked up with it because it's the same parody. So this has to be a 4 picking up a 1 doing a parody shift. And I've broken the puzzle. So what have I done wrong? This will say it's wrong. No, it says the digits I've entered are correct. So is this wrong? But I've used this. This was 12, and it couldn't be 9, 3. Could be 4, 8. It couldn't be 7, 5. This had to be 4, 8. But for this 5 clue to work, that has to be a 4. Because if this is a 5, it makes it a 6 clue. Actually, it makes it more than that because there's no parity switch. But now this is broken. And this couldn't be a 4 anyway. How does this 5 clue work? Have I just not understood this rule at all? Like a 3, 1 doesn't get it for me. So this is a 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. This has to be a 5. 5 and 1 are the same parity, and I've broken the puzzle. But it says the digits I've entered are correct. Does it still say the digits are correct? Yes. But if I put a 4 here, it's going to say it's wrong. No, it says it's right. How is that correct? How does this parity work? Eight, 9, there's a parity shift. How does this 5 clue work? I don't understand. If I put a 4 here, does it say it's wrong? Yeah, it says that's wrong. Sorry, I wouldn't normally do this on a video, but I don't understand these constraints very well. So this is a 4. So this has to be at least a 5. But if this is a 5, this is a 5, 1, which means both digits are counted, and this is 5 clue is wrong. I don't understand. Now, this was solved by CTC. Like, there's no other reason this would have so many solves. So, I'm sorry, I'm very confused. That 5 clue is melting my brain. I haven't got parity wrong. 13579. What do I do here? Okay, let's do this row. This is 2679 to complete the row. I can't put 2 in a 13 cage. If this is a 6, this is a 7. If this is a 7, this is a 6. If this is a 9, this is a 4. So I'm completely discombobulated by this. I don't know what to do. If this is an 8, these have to sum to 8, which would be 5, 3. If this is 1, 3, then this would have to be 7. 1, 3, 7 is 11. One, 3, 7. Hang on. If I put a 1 here, this goes 1, 3. I need an odd digit because if I go 1, 3, 8, then I've ended on 12. If I go 1, 3, 7, I'm going to come back to this. If this is, it's bugging me though. If this is 1, 3, 7, then that's 11. I need another 5. But if I put a 5 there, I haven't done a parity shift and all of that sum. So this can't be a 1. And now 5, 3 needs this to be an 8. 7, 3 needs me to put 6 in here. But the only way to do that is put a 6 here, because if I go 7, 3, 1, 5, I haven't done a parity shift. So this has to be 5, 3, 8, which means this is the 1. This is following the rules. This means this is the 4 and this is the 8. Which means there's an 8 right there, which means that's the 7. Which means there's no 7 there. There's no 5 there. There's no 9 there. This is a 6. There's no 6 there. There's a 9 in one of these two. It's telling me, like, I can't put a 7 or a 9 there. It's telling me this is the 5. This is the 7. This is the 9. I'm going to check to see whether... It says the digits I've entered in is correct. But how does that clue work? And I didn't reset this grid. This is the grid as provided. I'm going to keep solving. 7, 5. This is not 5, 9. This is the 7. So this is the 5. This is the 9. That clue works. I'm going to mark this clue here with, not that one. I'm going to mark this clue here with like a green circle because I don't understand it at all. Because at the moment, this clue is reading to me as, well, because it's up to and including the first parity shift. It's not reading to me as a 5. This is 6, 15, 23. This is a 23 clue. There's no 9 here, so there's no 4 here. This is a 6, 7, so there's no 6, 7 here. What are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 4, 9. And there must be a 4 in them. Sorry, I'm just completely lost. There's no 9 there. What about this column? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are 2, 3, 4 and must contain a 3. Actually, I know what this is. That's just a 1. The 16 clue is done. So I'm just completely... After I've done this, and because it's telling me it's correct, I'm going to pause and check the CTC video and see what it says. This now can't be 1, 8. It could be 2, 7. It can't be... hang on. It can't be 1 9. It can't be 2 8. It can't be 3 7. This has to be 4 6. And it has to be 4 6 in that order, making this 9. 9 and 5 is 14. So this is the 1. The 9 makes this the 2, which makes this the 4 and this the 9. The 2 looks back, making this 7 and this 2. The 7 looks back, making this 6 and this 7. The 9 looks in, making this 8 and this 9, which makes this 8, which makes this 9, which makes this 1, which makes this 2. This column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a 9. This box is missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There's no 2 in either of those. So that's the 2. This is a 3, 7 pair. This column is missing 1. No, it's not. This 7 looks up, making this the 3 and this the 7. Now this column is missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 and 4. That 1 makes that the 4 and this the 1. Now I've got 10. I need another 11. These are 1, 2, 3, and 5. There's no 2 there. Now this is odd, so it continues. Now if it was 10, 13, I'd need another 8. 5, 3 wouldn't give me the parity shift. So this has to be 1, 9, 5, 6, because that gives me the parity shift I need. 5, 6, 5, no 5 in either of those. This now has to be 3 or 4 for the row, but the 3 makes that the 4, and that the 3, and that the 4. There's no 4 in either of those. This is a 2, 3 pair. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 5. This is the 6. 5 and 1 are the same parity. But if this ended with a 2, I wouldn't get it there. So this is 3, 2, 3, and before I put the 2 in, this is 8 plus 9 is 17 plus 4. Hang on. This just doesn't work. I've made a mistake because this is 6, 9 plus 9 is 18 plus 4 is 22. No, that is correct. So this one is correct. 7 is correct. 21. 10, 15, 21. The 21 is correct. All of them are correct except this 5. So if I put this 2 in, you've solved the house parody. Well done. Would you like to see more of these types of puzzles? Feel free to DM me ideas on Discord and I might make them. So it's now had 7,088 solves. But how does that clue work? Okay, I've come back. I'm going to re-record my ending to this puzzle and I'll figure out how to end it. I've realized what I was getting wrong and I've missed it here as well, which is it says in the rules, a single digit clue might give the first digit only. So because this was a single digit clue, this could be an 8 on its own. I hope, and the same here, me using the parity shift logic in these places was absolutely terrible. It was actually not wrong because a single digit clue being able to give only its first one meant that if I couldn't do it with a parity shift more than the single digit, I was fine. So where I was giving the single digit option, then that was okay, and it didn't matter what the second digit was. And I probably made some mistakes during my solve with some eliminations there, and I'm sorry, but that's why the 4-8 is okay and the 5-1 is okay, because it's a single digit clue, and therefore it doesn't matter what's preceding it. Single digit clues might give the first digit only, and that breaks the parity requirement, and that's where I went wrong. And this 7 clue didn't matter what the 7 was followed with if it was a 7 clue. That is where I went wrong with this 5 clue. So, yeah, that's absolutely my problem. Sorry, everyone. I'm not sure if I'm going to edit out my previously recorded ending where I'm completely confused by that 5 clue or not. We'll see. Thanks, everyone, for watching. good luck with your solving. Better luck than I had with this one. Thanks, everyone. Bye.